Hi everybody, Eclectic Impromptus here. I hope you're having a great Tuesday. As you can see, it's cloudy and at best it's going to be 63. But I kind of needed a change of scenery for my house and needed to go on a walk, strike now while the iron's hot, as the saying goes. We're heading towards winter and I want to enjoy the whatever warm weather we've got left. And something's been weighing heavily on my mind lately. It happened Friday. I made a big decision. Something I'm not ready to talk about, but just go wait a second. Passing some people, I didn't want to disrupt their conversation here. So something big happened. I'm not ready to talk about it just yet, but I will in a later video. It was a big decision I had to make. There's a side of me that's proud of it, but there's a side of me not so much. I've been vacillating between being in shock to guilt to, oh boy, I can do this now, and that feeling of freedom a little bit. And whoever was involved, there was no animosity necessarily, but it's something that had to be done. But anyways, the reason why I wanted to come out here, besides taking a walk and clearing my head from Friday, gets me out of the house. Sometimes you need that change of scenery, and I'm going to take you on a walk around Hoops Park, actually. I've been watching on YouTube clips with Soul in the Woods. She has a tendency to go to a park with her two little dogs, and she talks about insightful stuff about her growing up and her upbringing. It's kind of like you're taking a walk with her, even if it's virtually. Another YouTuber called Pastime Passions, this is Eek Acres' wife. She'll do this at times too. Oh my gosh, look at this up ahead. Yeah, I saw that. There's like a little tree with flowers growing around. We'll have to walk around with this, after this round and stuff. Somebody else, I've recently started watching his video clips, and he gives practical insight. He's also a big dog person. Actually, just last month, he adopted a dog. The dog was abandoned. I hate it when people do that, to be honest with you. I mean, what did the dog ever do to that person, But the dog was found on this YouTuber's property. He was good enough to take the dog in, and the dog's doing a lot better and thriving a lot better from the looks of it. This particular YouTube I just talked about is Offended Outcast. He definitely has some words of wisdom in life in general. And has a big heart for dogs too, on top of that. I really like watching his YouTube channel. And Pastime Passions is great, and Soul in the Woods is awesome as always. But something else I wanted to do while we're walking out here. This brings back time when I lived in Auburn. I lived here in Auburn from July of '95 all the way up until, I want to say, 2008 or 2009. And then been living where I'm at now to this day, between Jordan, Elbridge, and Baldwinsville. I'm not going to say where specifically. I don't feel it's right for me to do that, and I want to respect my privacy. I hope you guys can understand that. But during the times I lived here in Auburn, I used to go for a walk out here in Hoops Park. Isn't this such a beautiful place, even with the fall scene? I'll take a second to show you. But this brings back wonderful memories. There's times my family would have, get-togethers with their friends, and we'd all hang out at the house. Unfortunately, the noise levels and the fact that I'm not a big people person, I'm more introverted. Kind of sometimes, there's times I needed a break from that. So I'll come out here. Oh, and here's some flowers up ahead. Pretty orange flowers. Hope you guys could see that okay. There was times where, I needed a break from the chaos and the noise. And if I wasn't holed up in my room listening to music or, working on some sort of art project or writing or reading books, I'd come out here on a nice day. In this tree here. So there's times I did that. Or if I was under some stress or feeling down in the dumps, sometimes I just come out here and take a walk, listen to my music, give a chance to clear my head. I think of one time, this had to been fall of 2008 or 2009, right before I left Auburn. I went through a friendship breakup. I won't go into specifics, but I remember it as if it was yesterday. And, a couple of times after this fallout, I would walk around the park here, take a couple laps, listen to my music on my Walkman or CD player or whatever. And I think it was during this time I was into like bands like the Smashing Pumpkins. Definitely was a big Duran Duran fan. That's a pretty cherry tree. Pussycat Dolls, The Killers, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Stone Temple Pilots, just got into that band at the time. Depeche Mode was another big one for me back then, and I just I just walk around, listen to my music, go for a couple laps, just jam out to my music, and it kind of helped actually deal with this fallout that I had with this ex-friend. Not too long after that, I relocated to where I'm at now. Wow, you can see some of the beautiful trees here in the nature. Even if it's fall and it's a little chilly and cloudy to a fault here. But and it brought back memories and kind of had some nostalgic moments today in addition to Friday's decision. Another memory I kind of have while coming out here, sometimes in the summer, Hoops Park does these concerts. I don't know if they do it now, but they definitely did back in the 2000s. They used to play all kinds of music. It was at the amphitheater behind the park, or towards the end. Hang on. Some more people passed by. I didn't want to disrupt. You can see the lake, or the pond rather. Not really a lake, it's more like a pond. Beautiful though. So there was times where, whether it's with my family or just me by myself, I'd come out here and listen to the live music they'd have. And I remember one group, they were kind of like a jazz band. That was kind of cool to listen to. I think they also did movie nights here during the summer, if I'm not mistaken. If any of you guys are in Auburn, feel free to comment about if they still do live music or movies and stuff. I think they did do movies, but I don't remember exactly. But live music, I don't know if they still have that going on. Something else that comes to mind, 3 years ago, I just started taking art classes at Cayuga Community College, right? And I started with two-dimensional design. Professor is amazing, by the way. So there was an extra credit opportunity. Excuse me. That semester, and I volunteered. Basically, what I had to do was participate in this art thing where you go outside, you draw or paint a scene at Hoops Park. One of these times, I still have this picture. I'll have to videotape that and show you guys this. And I didn't win this contest, but I did it anyways, and participating in something that I've never done before, that counts more than anything. That counts for something, you know? And hey, it was a fun experience. And hey, that night I got to work at the Reef, and it wasn't a bad night, kind of busy. I remember it being busy and a little chaotic, but hey, we all got through it, and we all supported each other like we do now. And we're almost around the loop here. Yeah, you can see some of the birds walking and nature here. So those were the main memories that stood out coming here, but I always remember this being a beautiful place. In a sense, it was like a safe haven from the chaos. And hey, it was an opportunity to be part of an art competition 2-3 years ago. That was fun. And they do this art in the park every year. They have food vendors. There's live music from what I remember. And they have these little vendor shops where you can buy like art supplies or or art stuff. So it's pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, I think we're just around the loop trail. I'm heading towards that Hoops Park sign. I have to say I really appreciate doing this for you guys. And oh, and there's pumpkins. Yeah, you can see that, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, we're just about there. Let's see. People over there, they got some kids and look like they're enjoying themselves. And the little baby is really cute from the looks of it. I like babies; they're so cute. Wasn't in my deck of cards to have kids at this point. I'm kind of a little too old for that right now. But you never know; miracles can happen. But I know it's not my deck of cards. You know what? I've accepted that, and I'm in a much different direction. Working at the reef and having an amazing time there. With some amazing supportive people and going to school, DJing, doing this YouTube channel. It's awesome. Life is awesome. Yeah, I could see this little tree up ahead. Kind of looks like a Japanese tree, almost like a bonsai tree. Now I think of the movie Karate Kid. Bonsai! With Mr. Miyagi and stuff. Yeah, I'll zoom out of this a little bit. This little statue. I think this could be another example of a high relief where the fountain's at and it's jutting out considerably. Another art history example. Some purple flowers. Those are pretty. I don't know what kind. Now, if you guys ever want to comment and tell me what kind of flower this is, feel free. Beautiful flower. Yeah, this is the amphitheater I was talking about where they have the live music, possibly over the summer. And then over here is a fountain. You might not see it. I'll get closer so that way you can see it better. And then this is kind of eye-catching. Yeah, the stone here surrounding the. I'm not sure what the intentions is. Maybe it's just an eye-catching artistic thing, perhaps. What do you guys think? You can let me know in the comments if you want. But it's kind of a cool setup. And then this tree here. Yeah, that's pretty. Let's see. Getting close to that fountain, and I'm going to show you that little setup with the orange flowers and the tree surrounding it. Yeah, this is the fountain. It's not working probably because we're heading towards winter, I'm guessing. And that's fine. See the rose petals in the a little bit. But there are some roses here that are still out, even if we're heading towards mid-October. Then we'll head towards this area because this brings back another memory. Whenever I'd come out here to Hoops Park, it was just empty before this little structure came into the equation, and these trees used to sit and hang out and just take in the scenery. I remember something about that years ago. Few benches here. Let's see. Yeah, so it's these marigolds and this. It's like a maple leaf tree. red leaf anyways. You see the trees surrounding the area. So I have a question to ask you guys, and you can answer this in the comments as well. Do you guys ever have any nostalgic parks that you go to or that brings back fond memories of? You know, feel free to let me know in that comments. Was this place? Yeah, Luxac. So, was there another park? Was it this park? I'm kind of curious. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you'd like. You don't have to, but it would be cool to hear about your experiences in park settings and memories and stuff if you want. Yeah, another bench here. But, well, I'm going to continue on my walk. I'm going to go at least for another round or so before I head home. But if you like this, please click like, subscribe, and share. And, you know, feel free to, you know, comment on this video. Just nothing hateful, please. That's all I ask. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And I'm also going to do another short later on sometime after I get home. So I will talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye-bye.